Yeah, no. Yeah. First thing I really wanted to touch on when I was watching this the second time through is a lot of movies have incredible film locations. You not only have film locations, you have different planes of existence, like going on levels and levels of that. And I just wanted, like, maybe you could speak to like the logistics of what your vision was and how you accomplished all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm actually going to bring up Natalino as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my mom.
And now this is a surprise for you.
Oh, it is. I mean,
Natalino, come on. And Benner, where's Benner? Yeah, come on up, Benner. Natalino was the camera operator on the movie. Helped make it look so pretty. And Benner, you guys met before. He's my passionate, enthusiastic friend from Black Pond Distro.
we know you know how to use this.
Yeah, I mean, we're all team.
Yeah, we are. We're wire brothers here.
These mics are
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, as far as locations, it was, to try to, on a limited budget, create these kind of fantasy worlds. We built a lot of sets, and they were all crammed in this tiny little warehouse in Hamilton. So we had Agatha's kitchen was, one wall away from, the house in Jordan's mind. Part of that house under the stairwell was like Randall's hallway that goes to his basement. The coach's office was right beside that, and then we had, the grave set right beside that. Like, you couldn't move in this place. Everything was done. And then next to it in the other warehouse, we had the cave set for the finale, the Creature's Lair.
So in like some world, you could just do a one shot through everything. Like everyone just walks through.
We have some behind the scenes that's weird.
I imagine. Also, we were talking out there, I think people would like to know, is like this happened when you were planning the film, was like right before the actors strike. And just talk about how that affected your planning, like your schedule, your everything.
Yeah, I mean, we wrote this movie and we got it financed, and all of a sudden this actor strike was coming up, and we were like, there's only chance. Anytime you get money for a movie, you just gotta make it, because money disappears. And this is the biggest budget that we've ever had, even though, it's still not that big. And yeah, I mean, we casted Ashley, we casted Ellie, I think within a week of them being on set, and learning all their lines, wardrobe fitting, all the wardrobe was custom as well. Like, it was all made by our designer, Maddie. And yeah, got them all ready, built these sets. I mean, we were still painting sets as we were shooting, as we went through, and we were all just working so hard because we knew that if we didn't wrap on time, all of a sudden we wouldn't be able to use Ashley or Sean. Like, they'd just be done and we'd have to wait, I don't know, a year or whatever till we can shoot again.
Well, the set, like, that's interesting because you had to be building these sets so far in advance, and you're saying like the people were cast like a week out from shooting. So you literally had everything ready to go except for the people that were going to manipulate these sets. Like,
yeah, and even the sets like.
Well, I think some of the sets were being built while we were shooting.
like live.
Yeah.
If you listen carefully, you can hear hammering.
I think the grave got built out while we were shooting. Well, the interior of the grave, that got built out, and then it was a fun shoot. It was very fast paced, that's for sure. Yeah.
There was actually a time where we had two cameras going. We had one filming Cynthia coming into the house with one team, and then we had the other one, Natalina, was filming the Agatha's kitchen scene. So, and we had two monitors there, and I was standing there being like, action, cut, action. So it was a lot. We crammed a lot into our shoot.
And that horror's always kind of like generationally had like certain themes that you can go back, like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, like nuclear family, like the big monsters. Like, there's always something that horror kind of like taps into, it seems like, at a certain age. And it seems like right now we're dealing a lot with like grief and like generational trauma. I just like your thoughts on that in like general, and what like brought you to that concept and like your story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole movie was therapy for me, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it took, it was, I think, 5 years between the last movie that I wrote and directed and this one. And I had lost both my parents in between, and, I was going through a lot. And I started writing this, and, it was a struggle at first. And then one day it just clicked why, it meant something to me.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I think I wrote in 7 days. And I mean, I don't know how many writers are here, but it's not easy. You know, it's a stressful thing where you're sitting by yourself being like, am I wasting my time? Is this garbage? Is this ever going to be seen? But yeah, I think the big thing for me is like, we read a lot of scripts and we write a lot of scripts, and you know, writing in horror, there's always this idea of like, you know, what's the creature? What's its backstory? You know, is it a Wikipedia page that we find? Is it, you know, based on real life? Is it something that you make up? How do you be different when there's like so many movies coming out? And really, it kind of was just like, you know, sometimes it's not about being different, it's just about being, you know, what works for you. And I think for me, it was just that it clicked in my head that I was like, both my parents died of cancer, and I was with them for their final days, and the idea was just that, what if this creature was just like cancer? It was just a parasite, and it doesn't need a huge backstory. It just feeds. That's its only mission. That's the only thing it does. And it's not that I wanted that to come across in the movie, but for me, it made it make sense. And that's why even, you know, the layer at the end is almost like a giant tumor. And again, it's like, not that people would ever really connect that, but for me, it helped me write the script and give it motivation. And, you know.
Do you think when you first approached this, like looking backwards, that it was more just for you as an outlet, or did you always have, I want to make this production in mind?
I mean, I think it was an outlet. That's what kind of got it going. Mm-hmm. But what I loved about it is that I've always wanted to do, you know, I love Nightmare on Elm Street, I love The Cell. I've always wanted to make something scary. Like, we've done a ton of films over the years. I think we've done 35. And I don't know if we really made something that scares the shit out of people. So that was part of the goal with this one, but also that, you know, as soon as you break that idea as a writer of being like, hey, we can go into other worlds, now you can do whatever the hell you want, you know? It's like, I wanted to bury someone, you know, I wanted to do like an Event Horizon moment, I wanted to do, you know, all these different kind of things, and it just suddenly started feeling right, not forced, but like right. Putting them in this, and then, you know, it all came together.
I have one more and then I'll open up to you, I promise, but like, horror also has this tendency to need humor, like interspersed to it, to give people a break, and it's kind of a hard balance to do, and you have that in here. I just wonder, like in the script, was that a beat where you wanted it to be funny, or was it the performer that made it funny, or like the communal, like how did that organically happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best horror movies are often ones where you can have fun while you watch them. There's a lot of dark themes in this one, and I think, you know, writing Agatha, even at script phase, everyone was like, Agatha's the best. Like, I just want to see an Agatha movie, you know? Yeah. But I mean, the hard part was actually just finding it tonally, so that you can kind of get some humor in there, but also it isn't like so comedic that it feels ridiculous or relieves too much tension.
Right.
So there's so many lines that Agatha has that we actually cut out because she ad-libs a ton and stuff like that. They're just too funny. Yeah. Like, it just like broke the tone too much.
Off the rails.
But oh man, we'll put them on the Blu-ray.
All right. Anyone have a question here? Here we go, right here.
First off, I want to thank you. That was a fantastic movie. You gave us three stellar characters. The three female leads, did you just kind of create them off of like an idea of, you know, some sort of superhero you wanted in the fight with cancer, or did you base them off of somebody real?
No, I mean, I think, you know, there's two parent and child relationships in this, and I just, you know, I really like the idea and the concept that, you know, they're all good people. They've just got in this situation. Like, I love Randall because, you know, he's a good dad, and he's just a normal person. And, you know, a year ago, he would never imagine he's doing what he's doing right now, but what would you do to save your daughter, kind of thing. And same with Cynthia, is just, you know, creating that dynamic that she will not look inside her because she's afraid of what she's going to see, and she just cannot beat that. And in the end, like, what is she willing to do and sacrifice, including herself, to save her child? So I mean, so much of it just came out organically, I guess. But yeah, I know I fell in love with them when I was writing them. Agatha as well. I mean, I think I definitely, like, first season of Yellow Jackets, I loved Christina Ricci in it, and I loved, you know, that she has some wacky humor and stuff. So I definitely love the vibe of her. So there was a little bit of that in Agatha for sure.
Right here.
two quick things. One, I thought the creature design was very cool. It was a very striking visage. And then two, we've seen people go into people's minds before, but then to incept it, to go into the mind, into a demon, I thought that was a unique twist. So what were your inspirations of the creature design and the whole like switcheroo magoo?
The
The
creature
official cinematic term, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
What was it?
Switcheroo magoo?
Yeah.
Switcheroo magoo.
That goes on the Blu-ray too.
I want that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, as far as creature design goes, the creature is played by Brooklyn Marshall. Go look her up on Instagram. She's beautiful. She's a dancer. She does like glamour, beauty, photo shoots. She's awesome, amazing. And the contrast between that creature and her is so awesome. So I'm so pumped. I actually, through the entire set, never saw her as herself. I only saw her when she came on set. She was always in the makeup room. And I just, I forgot what she even looked like till the end. We had a wrap party and I was like, oh, that's crazy. But yeah, we went back and forth and we actually did her in full makeup with a couple different designs. And it wasn't until the last one. And so much of it was just, the idea that we wanted this creature to be thin and kind of sunken eyes because it's hungry, it's starving, and all it wants to do is eat. So that was a big part of it, just making that kind of make sense. And sorry, second question, the switch remains.
Yeah, the switcheroo magoo.
Yeah. What was that reference to?
The Inception with the heads.
Oh yeah. No, that was
like going into it was like going into somebody else's mind
And then going into another person's mind, and then going into the demon's mind.
Yeah.
That was 3:30 in the morning, lying in bed, and all of a sudden I sat up and was like, holy shit! And ran downstairs and started running.
Yeah. All caps.
Yeah. And I mean, it also was one of those things that just it felt exciting because it's cool to go into someone's mind, but then I was like, oh shit, it's cool to go into a demon's mind.
Yeah.
Now you can do some crazy shit. So
Right here. Here. Yep.
I just wanted to, I don't have a question, but I wanted to say, we've all seen tons of horror movies, obviously, in this room, and when the mom and the daughter were hugging at the end, I was like, oh, here comes one more jump scare, and there was no jump scare, and I just want to say thanks.
I will say there's a lot of pressure to put that last jump scare in. There was a point where I almost had to shoot it because of the people like partners and financiers and stuff.
Yeah, right here. Right behind.
Hey, great job on the film. I think I speak for everyone. It was amazing. All three of you did great work. It was so amazing. So congratulations. But I had a question. They say a film is written 3 times: when you write the script, when you direct on set, and then when you're in post. Were there any examples of when you were either on production or in post-production when you kind of had to rewrite or reformat things? Were there any like spontaneous changes that happened? Or...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wrote it, and we had to go in production so quickly that there's all the producers that were like, you got to tone this down. We can't do this with our money. And then we were shooting, and I was like, push. How do we do it? I was in there painting sets with everyone else.
Everything's fine.
But there was actually, whenever she goes into the creature's mind, there's this epic cave near my house, and it's like a cave that kind of is a crack in the earth. It's so awesome, and I really wanted her to wake up kind of in this crack and walk through this forest where you're seeing all these rotten people that have been kind of eaten by this creature, and then she goes into this tunnel that has all these tentacles coming out of it. Then she kind of like goes through and comes into the lair. I fought so hard for that. And then, as production goes, something happened. And I was like, well, that's definitely not going to happen now.
That reminds me, I wanted to tap in since you're here, like the set pieces and stuff and the logistics of it and the art of it that you're thinking of, like with your camera and the space of everything. Like, how do you manage the logistics and the technicality of making that work?
Well, the cinematographer's like 6'3",
Okay.
so you can imagine why they called me to do this. It was pretty tight.
Yeah.
The grave is pretty tight. Getting into the layer is really tight. But it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's a ton of fun. It gets really hot in there.
Yeah.
I remember the grave was pretty hot, but you're really not thinking about it when you're shooting and you're just like, you got your eye on that camera and you got these performances that are happening. You're not.
You're almost another cast member at that point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, definitely for sure. Yeah, yeah. Like you're doing a dance with these
Yeah.
people. So, yeah, but it's you forget about how not, I don't want to say difficult, but you forget how constrained you are. Like, you know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
like, you're in these very small spots, especially with this film, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't feel like it whatsoever. But
Okay.
lots of fun.
This little curtain thing seems we all need to step forward and we get one more question. That's what I've learned. So anybody got one last question here? I think I saw your hand go up first, yeah.
It looks fantastic. Love it. What did you guys shoot on?
We shot, I believe this one was on the Mini LF, the Alexa Mini LF, and lenses wise,
Oh yeah, we did.
I think there were Master Primes. I don't remember at this point. I've shot quite a bit of stuff.
We actually did all the in-mind stuff on anamorphics.
Oh right, yes. So all the stuff that were in the mind of anyone actually was all anamorphic, and then, but like on the lens choices, I think it was Master Primes. On anamorphics may have been
Cooks.
Cooks.
Yeah,
I was just gonna, yeah. And then the camera itself was the Mini LF.
And oddly enough, not to bring up Yellow Jackets again, but at Sunbelt, I was looking for this weird lens to kind of shoot some of the stuff in the dream. And they had this lens that was created by the DP of
Yes.
Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, yeah. We used it too, didn't
Yeah,
we?
yeah. Oh yeah, we used it. So the sequence when Jordan, or when the creature goes into Jordan's mind, that was kind of like the Event Horizon thing that I wanted to do. That was shot on that lens
Yeah.
to kind of give it like that warped vibe to it. And the lens was so awesome. It literally is like multiple lenses kind of like welded together. Like it was.
Yeah, now I remember.
It was cool.
All right, well, I assume you all will be hanging out in the lobby if anyone wants to chat and talk and do more things. Let's give it up to them one more time, and thank you to you all for coming to this party. Let's go.
Yeah, if I could just say one last thing.
Yeah.
This, I think, it's your first time in Kansas City too?
Yes.
So this is our first time, the three of us. We've never been to Kansas City before. And I think it was ironic. We brought out a movie that's called It Feeds, and nothing nothing defines like stick to your ribs food than all the food that we've eaten since we've been in Kansas City. So thank you for that.
You're amazing.
Midwest hospitality does exist. We really appreciate you. If you love the film, please tell your friends, tell people to check it out. Rate it on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or the popcorn meter or whatever. We really appreciate that. That's why Chad brings me along to these things. So I'm obligated to contractually say that to you. But thank you very much.
I think we can vote for this film too. right?
Yeah. There's a
Vote? Oh yeah, vote, yeah.
If you love this, vote for it for best of the best.
We're also going to be at Rewind Video tonight, so come let us know what you think.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.